Hey everybody, welcome to Navel Gazing, the Valley Indy podcast. My name is Eugene Driscoll. I'm a reporter with valleyindy.org, a nonprofit online newspaper covering Ansonia, Derby, and Seymour in the lower Naugatuck Valley of Connecticut. Today, my guest is Derby's 2nd Ward Alderman Gino DiGiovanni. Gino, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey, Eugene, how are you?
Not bad at all. Gino lives down the road from me. He's my representative on the Board of Aldermen in Derby. He's also the chairman of the Republican Town Committee and an appointed member of the Derby Planning and Zoning Commission. So NBC 30 on Friday reported that Gino, before he was elected to the Board of Aldermen and Alderwomen in Derby, attended the, quote, Stop the Steal rally on January 6th in Washington, D.C., and was one of the estimated 2,000 people that entered the U.S. Capitol on that day. I should note that Alderman DiGiovanni has not been charged with the crime. No one's even said that he is under any type of investigation. This is all just from a report that aired on Friday on NBC 30. So Gino and I were exchanging texts today and a couple of phone calls. My goal is not to make Gino look bad. It's not to make Gino look good. Just wanted to give him a chance to answer some questions about this issue, and more importantly, give him the chance to talk to people in an unfiltered, unedited scenario, if you will. I'm not planning to cut this in any way or to splice it in any way unless there's a major technical glitch. So that's that. Before we begin, Gino, because I have a tendency to talk too much, is there anything you just wanted to say as a lifelong Derby resident and a member of the Board of Aldermen? Is there anything you just wanted to say at the start of this?
Well, first of all, Eugene, I just want to say thank you very much for, reaching out to me and giving me the opportunity to answer some questions, especially for the voters here in my town and my ward in Derby, to be public and get a local dialogue going. So for that, I thank you. And, if there's anything I can do, you just let me know. Appreciate it.
Okay. So the first thing I was going to ask, just some obvious questions but we're setting back the clock a little bit here, but I just wanted to ask you why you attended the Stop the Steal rally. What was your goal in going down there? Did you go with a group? Did you travel alone? How did that work?
Yeah, so I attended, to be honest with you, Stop the Steal, I guess was the name of it, but I went down to DC to see President Trump at the time speak. It was going to be the last time he was speaking, and my wife had told me it was in January, obviously, so it was I wasn't working at the time. It was colder out, so we're a little slow in the winter, but my wife said, they were having President Trump is going to be speaking, and let's go down. So we decided to go down. As the time, I don't know, maybe this was a couple days before, over that earlier weekend, my wife wasn't feeling good that day of, I think maybe it was Tuesday, the day before, from chemo, from the cancer. So I decided that she's like, why don't you go down and go down to DC, see the speech, and then I'll be here, because she wasn't feeling good. So that's what I did. And I drove down. I didn't go with any other political leaders, because once again, I wasn't even a candidate. I wasn't thinking about running for office. So I just went down as a Derby resident at the time. So I drove down there and saw President Trump speak at I was standing there in front of the Washington Monument,
And you're not like, I know Gino a little bit,
Yep.
just from covering Derby, and before he was an alderman, I'd run into you at happy hour once in a while at Bar None, and we would just talk about random Derby stuff. But you're not on social media. You're not a guy, because there's a stereotype, I think, among some people who are like, oh, the people who went down to that Stop the Steal, he was going down there to overthrow the government because he's on Reddit and whatever websites all day, but you're not
Yeah. So at the
that.
at the time, I didn't have any social media. I mean, currently, there is a Facebook page, a personal Facebook page that people on my staff for my campaign had to make to do a DiGiovanni for Alderman page. So there was a Facebook page made later on. I think maybe September, October, later in the year. But you know, I've been running a business for 20 plus years. You know, so. I wasn't really into the whole watch the news, pay attention to every little detail that was going on, you know, especially back then. And then my wife told me about the rally we were going to go, and you know, I went down, and you know, that's how I began the day down there. You
Do
know,
you
but I
think
just went to go see the president at the time. You know, his last speech. I was, you know, as everybody else was thinking, you know, as far as I knew, you have to put yourself, you know, after what we've seen now for the last two plus years, you have to put yourself in the shoes at that time. You know what I mean? So what you know now, but you didn't know then. So I thought that I was going down there, going to see the president, and you know.
Did you think it was one thing that's been asked on like Valley Indy social media, and NBC 30 asked this a little bit? Did you think, or do you think that Joe Biden won the election in 2020 in a fair and above board manner? And did he defeat Donald Trump?
Well, if we're going to talk timeline, I mean, at the time, you know, he got 81 million plus votes or something at the time. And now as time has, you know, progressed, he is the president of the United States. I mean, you know, do I think there, like I said in NBC 30, I mean, there's definitely some discrepancies. Is there enough to, for Joe Biden, you know, for Donald Trump to be president or Joe Biden not to be president? That's not for me to determine, but through the last couple of years, there's been certain cases and certain, you know, discrepancies, but, you know, I don't, you know, I don't see that there was, you know, anything to constitute that, but there's definitely some discrepancies there that have been shown. But
Okay. Yeah, and as far as I know, I mean, just from reading, again, I don't cover national politics, but there's no evidence of widespread fraud.
no.
Trump and he's challenged it in court every step of the way, and has essentially
right.
lost
No,
it every step of the way.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just responding.
No, right, but I'm just stating that I read some things, and you know, there was some court stuff, and there was some discrepancies in certain states, but I'm not, you know, I'm not saying that there's, you know, that election should have been overturned or anything.
Okay, and then
I'm just replying to what my answer was in NBC Connecticut in the.
Gotcha, and you know, so everyone's on the same page. I'll play that in a second, or at least I'll attempt to.
Yeah.
But because, you know, I wasn't there, and I just watched on the news that day when they broke into all regularly scheduled program that whole day. But what motivated you, or what was the idea, or why did you go from the rally down to the Capitol building?
So after President Trump spoke, there was, you know, the crowd, everybody went down to the Capitol, you know, from there. And I was just going kind of where everybody else was going. It was my first time in DC. I've never really been there. So I was standing next to the Washington Monument as the president was speaking. And I was standing with a bunch of retired Marines there, and everybody started walking towards the Capitol. So I did too, you know. I didn't.
Did you go with the intent of disrupting the joint session of Congress, or did you have an idea you were going to go in there and put a stop to what was happening inside?
No, absolutely not. No.
Okay. So maybe now let's take a look at the NBC 30 video, which has been picked up nationwide by NBC, or by NBC National, I guess it is. I don't know. I'm a local reporter. I don't know what anything else is, but I'm going to share the screen. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to share the sound. Hopefully this works. I'm going to go here. And if you want me to stop this and comment on something, Gino, just tell me, hey, pause.
Okay.
And let me know if you can hear this.
And obviously you got the pictures to prove it.
Can you hear that? That's yourself talking? Okay.
Yep.
An elected leader from our state tells NBC Connecticut investigates he was at the U.S. Capitol when it was breached January 6, 2021. He insists he didn't do anything wrong and says he hasn't been contacted by the feds. Chief Investigator Len Bestoff joins us now with a story you will see on just one station. Len.
41-year-old Gino DiGiovanni Jr. is a first-time alderman in Derby, elected in November 2021. We spoke with him after a board meeting this month. He said he didn't do anything improper at the Capitol, but that doesn't mean he won't be hearing from investigators.
Alderman DiGiovanni.
Yes, sir.
Len Bestoff at NBC
Hey, how you doing?
Got a question. Is this you at the Capitol on January 6th?
Yes, it is.
When we showed him images of himself inside the U.S. Capitol January 6, 2021, Derby City Alderman Gino DiGiovanni Jr. confirmed he went there after President Trump finished speaking at the Stop the Steal rally a few blocks away.
I mean, do you think that the election was stolen?
Well, I think there's some discrepancies there.
DiGiovanni says he walked from the rally to the Capitol. Open source surveillance video indicates he entered an Upper West Terrace door around 2:38 p.m., shortly after people inside the Capitol walked out that door.
I was there. I went inside there and, you know, I didn't damage or break anything.
Court documents in another January 6th case describe this door as a non-public alarmed exit door that also had a blaring high-pitched alarm that was going off at least 1 minute before DiGiovanni entered. You don't hear it because the video is silent.
But you weren't there when all the violence was going on.
No, I didn't see any violence. When I got, like I said to you, when I got there, there was Capitol Police at the...
And I guess I'm going to stop sharing that because you and I can continue the conversation. And the video goes on, and they quote some people not directly involved in it, from what I remember. Yep. And then in the background, that was Fred Anglace, I'm sure, complaining about his WPCA bill, if I remember correctly.
Correct. Yeah.
And just like, I mean, I wrote a story based on NBC's reporting over the weekend, and I was working on one today. It's also important to point out, you know, Gino is an Eagle Scout. He played a key role in building the 9/11 memorial on the Derby Green. And I'm just saying this to flesh him out. He's a human being, just like me and everybody else.
Thank you.
He recently helped to establish a memorial in Whittick Park that's here in Derby to honor the legacy of a Derby teen who died in a car accident. Like I said, he's not even on social media. He's not really known as a political firebrand. And I did reach out yesterday to 2 Derby Democrats. And I'll just note for the record that no one is calling for, at this point, for Gino's resignation. That's been not even Democrats. That has been the reaction here so far. So is there anything you wanted to say about that report, Gino? I know we were going to go into some, there's more videos to show, but anything you wanted to either rebut or say anything about that?
No, I mean, you know, Len Bestoff from NBC 30, he came in after a alderman meeting. And when he came in, you know, he showed me pictures and I told him that I was there. I ended up talking to him for, in my estimate, close to an hour, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. But, you know, he was nice about it. And, you know, I told him, I answered all the questions, you know, and at the end of the video, he told me that if the news station decided to run the story, that he would call me. And, you know, obviously late Friday night, they ran the story. So, you know, they said I had high name recognition in the state of Connecticut. So that's the first of,
and as a reporter, I'll say objectively, that's
hearing.
not,
I don't know what that means, but I'm sure I don't have high name recognition throughout the state, you know, so, but it is what it is. You know,
and let me just ask you, and I'm skipping ahead. I was going to show some other videos, but let's just say since that's aired, you and I talked today, you've had death threats, you've had kind of the internet dark side has now coming at you.
Oh yeah. The last 4 days, of my life have been worse. You know, it was just as bad, if not worse, than the day we found out my wife was sick, you know? So it's been a rough 4 days. My wife's going crazy. I had to go to the Derby police station, you know, department a few times. I found out what swatting means and trolls and bots. I had no idea what any of this was.
Did you
You
get
know,
swatted? Did somebody do that to you, or?
no, but threats of it, and I had no idea what it was. And my wife
Gotcha.
told me, so she was panicking, and so we had to go, and I went down there and I talked to them. They were great, and obviously, I'm so happy, to be honest with you, Eugene, that I live in the smallest city in the state for a number of reasons, but it if this happened to me and I lived in New Haven or Hartford or a big town where a lot of people don't even know their neighbors and so forth and so on, I would right now I would have to pack up my stuff and go hide out somewhere until it stopped, because without the people in town here, without the police department, I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, this is the first time I'm finding out about all these different things, and I've got emails, death threats, cell phone calls, voicemail calls. I mean, you name it. And it's been absolutely crazy to me, you know. So yeah, what's happened in the last 4 days, I'm getting, judged for being there that day, and the 25 years of service I did to my community, my country, my family, all the good I've done in 25 years all goes out the window because of a news story and where we're at. And it's just kind of blows my mind that everything turns on a dime, and it's really opened my eyes to what kind of what kind of evil or dark side is really out there. Because not that I'm naive and didn't know that that bad things go on out there, but to this level is pretty shocking to me.
And it should, and just to, I shouldn't editorialize, but I will. But obviously, if anybody watching this, I mean, who knows if Gino's going to get it charged? You know, they might now know who he is, or he might face criminal charges based on the videos we're going to see. But there's no reason. Let justice take its course. There's no reason to go after somebody like the way people are. You know, I understand it, and I'm a person. You know, I'll throw out there, I did not support Donald Trump. I didn't at all. So but still, there's no reason to act that way. And I do acknowledge that the terrible things happen on January 6th, particularly the police officers, which hits me because I'm the son and brother of a police officer. So all that being said, still let justice run its course, whatever may happen. And I think, Gino, you would say the same. Whatever you said in the NBC thing, if they have to face some type of sanctions for this, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I agree 100%. If like I said in the news report, if something comes from this, there's an inquiry or I get charged or whatever my future holds. I mean, most people that know me, I'm a stand-up person. If I've done something wrong, if I was charged, and I'm not just in this instance, so I don't want people to take my words out of context, but if I've ever done something wrong, and I've always took responsibility for any actions, for any wrongdoing or any different types of situations, not just wrongdoing, but and that's the way you should be. You know what I mean? So like I said in the news report too, if something comes of it, and I'll cross that bridge when I get there, and if there's a penalty, then I will definitely pay my debt to society. I mean, I don't have you know I'm just not that type of person that's gonna scapegoat or blame someone else or what have you, Eugene.
Okay. And let's, one thing I wanted to ask you, in that video, you said you didn't see any violence, but I mean, I texted you and we talked right before this. I just happened tonight, right before we went on, to stumble across a video. I mean, I'll just play it. Gino shows up at the very end of this video, and I'll let me see if I can share the screen again. I don't want to provide any editorial judgment. Let's just go through it. I'm going to play the whole thing if that's all right with you. And I should tell people there's cursing and nastiness. Just bear that in mind.
Pulling the pin. God damn it. Yeah, pull the pin and throw it. Ah, fuck. Ah. Oh, that was a direct one. Ah. It's right over here, dog. That's why. It's CS. Ah. 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 God damn, ouch, it's pretty good today. Oh. Little pepper spray never hurt nobody. USA, that's right. Oh, we are at the front.
They cannot stop us all. Let's go.
We gotta get new people in the endless fucking crowd in several directions. It's beautiful.
It is. Let's go.
To get more people.
Short front.
Yeah, we're good. This happens sometimes. I just got CS gas.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, the grenade. You're getting yourself out here. You want some water? That's all right. Are you sure? You want water? You want some water? I'm used to it. I go to these things. It'll be fine. Seen our first pepper spray. Yeah. Whatever fucking gas.
No problem.
So what I was going to show the audience, but I can't get the video to play on YouTube, is that it's a 2-minute video, and basically it's chaos outside the Capitol. It's people, it looks like either protesters are spraying tear gas or authorities are spraying tear gas. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But at the very end of it, in the last 4 seconds, Gino, you pop up and it looks like you've been hit with tear gas or something like that. It looked to me like you were trying to put water on your eyes or something like that. So I wanted you to just explain that you were sort of in the crap there. It wasn't like you were totally, you saw some things there, right?
Yeah, so I mean that's so where that was, I think it was either I don't know, pepper spray or tear gas, one or the other. And that's where the crowd was. And like I said to you before, I don't know if it was coming from the crowd or if it was coming from up into the right hand corner there. There was a lot of people, you know what I mean? And as I explained to you before, it's like you're jammed in the middle of thousands and thousands of people, and that's where I made I went to the left of where I was there, and I made it up the stairs, and then that's when I went into the Capitol there.
Because one thing, Gino, because I had asked you, because it looked to me like, okay, that was just someone, I wasn't there, but I'm watching that video, and I'm like, well, that seems to me the authorities are telling the crowd, don't come in this building. Where it looked like it was under attack, and that you were right in the middle of it. But you're saying that's
when we saw the video, up to the right hand side is where the I don't know what you call it there, the balcony or the mezzanine there.
Okay.
So that's why when we had talked about it before, I had made my way to the left hand side and went up the stairs. It was, I was trying to tell you before is what we know now, 2 years plus later, is not what I knew then. You know what I mean? So when you're there and there's that many people, it's almost like you have tunnel vision. You know what I mean? You don't know what's going on, to your right, to your left, what have you. But all I know is it was, it was mayhem over there. So I tried to, make it to my left-hand side, and go around there. And that's where I walked up the stairs, and then
Did you know the people around you? You could hear those screaming, and they're being aggressive. They're chanting USA. Did you know they had ill intent? Did it sound like it was a mob?
It was a mob. Yeah.
Were you aware that what they were trying to get in the building to do harm?
Well, no.
Did it feel like that at the time?
Well, no, because everybody was, at that lower, lower section. You know what I mean? But even when you look at the other pictures, you can't really tell what's going on around you. You know what I mean? So that's why I made it to the left-hand side. There was a little bit of space there. And then that's when I walked right up the stairs. And then, we'll take it from there. But, I saw the police officers, and, I walked into the building there,
Yeah. Did you ever think at that point, once all that kind of chaos started and it looked terrifying, did you ever think all right, I'm going back to my car and getting out of here? Like, did you think everything to
that's
go
what I did.
But did you think to go the other way? There was no way to get instead of going into the Capitol, to go the opposite way back towards where the rally was?
There was no getting back that way. No way. There was just too many people. I mean, you look at the pictures. I mean, there's
a crush of people.
I don't know how they say there was only a couple thousand people. I mean, you got to figure from the Washington Monument down there's got to be what? I don't know. I would say more than a mile. So how many people fill that whole section from street to street for a mile long? That's more than a couple thousand people in my estimation. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to argue how many people, but when you were going, it was like being at the Meadows years ago in the lawn. You know what I mean? Once that everybody starts moving, you're going with them. You know,
it's like a flow. You're going with the flow of people. That's
if you're going to try to break it and go back the other way, it's not happening. Try to walk the opposite way down New York City sidewalk. You know what I mean? It's tough. You got everybody. So I used my judgment, and I went to the left, and I went right up the side stairs there, and I went into the building. We'll go through that.
This next one is.
I don't want to jump ahead.
Yeah, no, don't you? Whatever you want to do. But this is a link and a video that you had sent me. I'm hoping this works now. If the share doesn't work, we're going to have problems here. But this shows where Gino entered the Capitol building through a door that had police there. Now, this is from, let me see if I can make this. Let me know if can you see anything right now, Gino?
Yes, I could.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I'm just going to play this. And then I also there's commentary on this. Again, this is government evidence. There's commentary on this. So it's editorialized. I also have a counter to this. And then I have unedited, just no commentary video that I'll play as well.
Yeah, no problem.
The following footage was obtained from the United States Department of Justice. It contains surveillance video of the Upper West Terrace doors of the United States Capitol
Eugene,
on
can you
January
pause that
6,
just for a second?
2021.
Yes.
I don't know, just for people that this view to our left, or it's my left-hand side, but it's with the woman with the flag right now walking in. Yes, that's it, where your cursor is. That is the view that they, NBC
And
Connecticut.
that's where you
Am I
come in at
correct?
2:38. Yeah.
Correct, right? That's the right view, right?
That is the right view. Yeah. And then on the
Okay.
right is when this woman walks forward, you'll then see her pop out. And this is the exterior view looking out of the building. The next is this is exterior looking out.
Right.
This is interior looking in. Sorry.
Okay, perfect.
Just after 2:33 p.m., police officers allow 5 individuals to exit the Capitol through the Upper West Terrace doors.
So again, this is 5 minutes
At
before
2:34 p.m., a gentleman holding an American flag catches the door just as the last protester leaves. He turns to the crowd outside and waves towards the door. At the same time, at 2:34 p.m., a gentleman with a red cap approaches the interior doors. As the police officer notices him, he continues to approach. The police officer holds the door for the protester as he enters the Capitol undeterred. At 2:35 p.m., a large group enters the interior of the Capitol, police standing at the doors. As a steady stream of protesters enter through the Upper West Terrace doors, they can see police officers standing at the interior doors, allowing people to pass.
So I don't know if I have to go through all 5 minutes of it, but Gino, you're saying this is backing up what you're saying, that you didn't force your way past anybody.
Correct. So no, I mean, I don't think we need to go through the whole 5 minutes, but what you didn't see in the other video was there's 2 police officers standing at the door when I walk in. There's another 2 police officers at that last scene where the swing doors were. And then over the course of this video, the police officers come in, come out, they mingle with not mingle, but they, take the same path of travel amongst the protesters, us that walk through that door at the time. They hold up the group, and then they let the group pass. And I was one of the 250 people that went through that door. And I was one of, like, I don't know, maybe the last few people in that door.
And I believe that video, and it's from Gateway Pundit, which is sort of an incendiary website.
But is it? Because it was part of a court case.
It was, you're right. The video is, I think the unedited video is. But, they're sort of insinuating that almost the police invited people in. Another take on it, just for the record, is that those police, you can read another source, which is kind of the other side, is like BuzzFeed gave an explanation saying that, well, what we're seeing is not that police were inviting people in, but at that point they don't know what to do. They're overwhelmed. They don't have their riot gear on. They don't know what's going on. But you were there. So what did the police officers, when you entered the building, say anything to you?
No, they didn't say anything to us. When I walked through the next set of doors, the swing doors, if you will, they were showing you where to go, because you go through those swing doors and then you walked up a set of stairs. You went into the rotunda where the dome is, and you walked through like the velvet ropes that were there, like in a movie theater. And then I walked out the other side.
And what were you, when you went in, what was your game plan, or what were you trying to do? Where were you trying to go once you walked into the Capitol?
I didn't have a game plan. I was never there. I was just following the rest of the people and came out on the other side. I don't know what side that would be, but I came out on the other side and I went down there was a big staircase, and went down. But when you walk in that, the round rotunda there's all those like marble statues of, presidents and what have you. And they have like these velvet ropes, like at the old time movie theaters, you know, and people walk through there, and we were guided on the other side of that how to, you know, maneuver, if you will, down to the other side, you know.
Okay. And
I've
then
I never been to Washington before. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to explain it.
and this is, I'm going to share,
Yeah.
and hopefully this works. And I don't know if it will, but this, okay. So we've had that video with commentary. Here's just the raw footage without any commentary. And this first video I'll share, this is at, as you can see, 2:33 p.m. These are the doors that Gino went in 5 minutes later. I just wanted to show people how the door opened. Now, what we don't see, if we turn the camera around, it is the police officers like directing, or whatever law enforcement they are. I assume they're law enforcement, directing people to this exit. So then you can see somebody, people from the outside notice. And then from this point on, there is a steady stream of people.
Right. I mean, now, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Well, by the time I get there, you know, there's two police officers standing right here under the bottom of of this footage. You know, I'm following all these people here.
Yeah, and I
You
think if
know?
I fast forward, I might even be able. The police officers. Well, we will see them. We will see them.
Yeah. No. I mean,
All right, let me go to the next one, because this is the NBC, or this is the footage that you saw on TV. This is actually Gino will appear up here somewhere. And I'm just playing this to give people a full picture.
yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm coming up the stairs right there.
Okay, so that's Gino. As you can see, that's self-explanatory. Yep. And you're wearing your company's jacket. I guess I don't know if we've pointed that out. You're actually wearing.
Yeah, with my name and my telephone number on it, and yep.
And this is okay. So here are the officers. We're going to see that now. We've just saw Gino walking in. This is the reverse angle again, public document of Gino making his way in.
Yep. There's a police officer that was in front of me right there.
And there you are.
And
Yeah. So there's
right
three.
there. Yep.
Yep. What's happening right here? This is what I wanted to ask you. What do you remember?
I'm not sure if this so to the right hand side here, the general the Capitol police officer that's by the door, I don't know if he was getting something on the radio or what it was at that time, but I remember I stopped. I don't know if he said, wait a minute, hold up, or what was going on there. I don't know the context of why I turned, but
okay.
And then obviously
did you know this guy? Did you know this guy, or you don't know this guy in the blue? This isn't somebody you know.
No, I don't know who that is. No. But the stairs that go right through this door, that's where you walk up the stairs into the rotunda.
And that's that. And what's interesting here, I mean, and again, I'm no expert on what happened that day, but you can see the officers. I mean, to me, I'm just reading it myself. It looks like they're just sort of, this is an unprecedented thing that's happening. All these people are coming into the Capitol, but the tone changes later, where you see this, where you can see the officers. It looks to me like they're retreating at this point, which is a shift in tone from what it was when you went in, I think, just based on my amateur observation.
Yeah. So what was it? 2:38 when I went in. Now you're at
so this is
2:48.
Yeah.
So what's that? 10 minutes, right?
Minus 6 minutes later.
6 minutes. Okay.
So anyway, I just wanted to show that. again. So, all right. So you go in there, and then what happened? Did you see any at that point? Did you see any
Yeah, I
craziness around you when you're in the building?
No, so when I walked up the stairs into the rotunda, like I said, there's the velvet roping and the poles, and then I don't know if it's a right, if it's a left, how it goes in there, how you go once you get into the center there. But then I went out one of the exits that were there, and then that's when I walked down the stairs on the backside, or I call it the backside. I don't know what side it was, to be honest with you, but there were a ton of people at the top of the Capitol stairs at the time, and they were singing the Star Spangled Banner. I walked down the stairs, and I walked back to
Did you
find where the metro
did you want to
was.
get out of there at that point? Were you like, this is a bad scene, or did it seem, because you're saying they sang the American or national anthem, but there was also, we know now, insanity going on.
But you know what's
Violence.
behind me, right? Thousands, hundreds of thousands, thousands of people are on the other side. You know what I mean? I'm trying to go wherever I need to go to get out the other side. You know what I mean?
And then once you get out of how long do you think you were in the building?
10, 15 minutes, maybe at the most.
And then when you got out, what was it then? Did you hightail it to your car or
walk down the back of the stairs? When I came out, there was a down, everybody was standing at the top of the stairs. I went down the stairs. There was a black SUV, like a military style Hummer type, Jeep truck, however you want to explain it. And in front of that, there was like a big round, I don't know, flower pot.
And had all hell broken loose at this point? Did you see?
Not on that side.
That tear gas stuff
not
earlier.
on that side.
Okay.
Not on that side at all. But there was a camera guy with a big tripod on it. And he must have been from, I don't know if it was just independent or what, but my wife, so let me back up 1 second, Eugene. As you could see, I was trying to dial my cell phone. I was trying to find out how I get from place to place.
Okay.
So you could not use your cell phone. You couldn't dial out. You couldn't dial in. You couldn't get on the internet. You couldn't do anything with your phone. So I don't know if it's because mass people, what have you. But when I got to the other side, I walked down the stairs. And like I said, there was a news thing. I stopped because I was sweating. I took off my jacket. I put it in my backpack. My wife saw me on one of the news things. I don't know. What was it? Newsmax. And she
physically, saw you?
Yeah.
Like on TV. Okay.
Yeah. She
or on the internet, whatever.
She knew that it was me because of my sweatshirt that I had on. Right. So she knew that I was safe because she couldn't obviously contact me. So she knew that I was safe. So by the time I walked out and I got back on the T or the Metro, whatever they call it, I got back to my truck, and then I don't know, I got on the highway to come home, but it took a while for my phone to work. And then I remember pulling over in a truck stop or rest stop, and then calling my wife, and she's telling me that World War III broke out. Not literally, please don't take it like that, but that.
Well, at that moment, it looked,
right,
it was a horror show.
This was going crazy, and that if I was all right, and and all that, because she couldn't get in touch with me, obviously. So and that's where it went from there. But I started reading through a lot of things, and a lot of a lot of things happened, later in the day that, I don't know what time things happen. Like everything, to be honest with you, Gene, everything is like so, time like almost stands still, so something you think that is an hour is only a few minutes, so after I left the Capitol, that's when I got, on the Metro and or the T, whatever they call it there. And I came back, to Connecticut that night.
And
Obviously.
at what point, Gino, because obviously, I mean, the thing that happened here is you had police officers beaten almost to death. A lot of them. Maybe I'm opinionated here, but it's a stain on our country. What happened that day? At what point? And again, maybe you don't feel that or share these views, but at what point did you realize, well, violence had ensued and cops had been beaten by people?
I didn't
where you were.
Right. I didn't know the severity of it until I got back home. Because once again, I didn't know what was going on at the time. You know what I mean? So when you're watching something play out on TV, you're at the 40,000 foot view. You see what's going on. But when you're at, the ground, you're on the ground, you're at ground level, you don't know what's going on. And like I said, it was 6 or 8 minutes, whatever it was at that time. So a lot happened in 6 or 8 minutes. They closed that door, and what have you. The cops, the Capitol Police were no longer at that door. So I mean, you don't.
They did, and eventually they sent reinforcements to that door. You went in. Eventually, a couple of minutes later, there was reinforcements show up.
In that video, you fast forward it, and then you see the police officers dressed in the green, uniform and the shields and everything. They closed the door, and then, the video ends. But
and let me just interrupt you because my question is okay. So you were there. You said what you said about going through there, but then there's a point where you realize that bad things have happened and police officers have been beaten and that there was a lot of violence. Do you acknowledge that happened? And what went through your mind and your soul when you heard about what had actually happened there?
Yeah. When I got, when I got home is when, when I got home is when my wife really told me what was going on. And, I really couldn't believe it. Because I don't know if it was that, maybe I was at the beginning of it and a lot of things ensued after, but it doesn't matter what chronological order things happen. I just could not believe, what was going on at the time there. You know what I mean? It was, it was, I don't know. It was definitely something that, like I said, when you're there, you're not really, and I don't want to sound, like you're not trying to really worry what's going on to the right and to the left. You're kind of got tunnel vision trying to get yourself out of there, But
you do acknowledge that these things, because there's some people who are there.
Yes. No.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Maybe
that's what I'm trying to get at here.
And maybe I misunderstood what you were the question, but no. I understand what happened. I mean, we've all seen it happen. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm not denying that January 6th never happened. So I don't want anybody to think that. But what I was trying to get at is when you're there in that moment, you just don't see the whole picture, is what I was trying to get at. But yes, I understand what happened that day. I'm definitely not a denier that says it didn't happen. I mean, people that weren't there and what have you. But I mean, I saw how many people were there. I saw what was going on, and you just, everything doesn't, you don't see the whole picture in the time. Even like if you're, doing other situations, you don't pick up on certain things, you know what I mean? And I really didn't realize what really went on that day until I got back, to Connecticut. It's just, I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know how you say it, but like the maybe traumatic or stress.
I mean, you were scared, right? I mean, I think you said that earlier. When that stuff was going off in the video that I unsuccessfully could not play. I mean, it's a violent scene at that point.
Well, yeah, and you don't know what's going on. and that's the worst part. You know what I mean? You don't know what's going on. You don't know, what's to your right, what's to your left. It's a lot of unknowns. Maybe that's the scariest part. You know what I mean? It's unknown where you're going to go. You know what I mean? Where you're getting trapped, or what's going on, in your surroundings, but it was, I it's hard. I guess it's hard to put into words.
And
I'm trying to look for the adjectives, or, how to describe the feeling, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of.
And one thing I want to ask you, Gino, and again, like, I mean, I'm a small town reporter, you're a small town public official, so it's not like these issues that divide the country, they don't get discussed at our level. It's still small town. That's the issues that I cover and that you try to tackle. But I do have to ask, and I hate to put on this hat, but looking back, I mean, do you feel there are some who said that, well, I put it on President Trump that all this happened. He rallied up that crowd. And do you put any blame or a sign, like the fact that now you're going through what you're going through because you walked down there and then chaos was happening outside around you? Do you have any reflection on that? Did you put any, do you attribute any of this to President Trump? I'll ask, which may be a reporter question, but I'll ask it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, hindsight's 2020. I mean, if we knew what was going to happen tomorrow, we would change what we do today. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of, I don't know, blame, if you use blame, but a lot of blame to go around in all parts. I mean, I think there was things that, they could have done if they knew what was going to happen. They could have got a lot more police or National Guard or whoever, would secure the place. I mean, there was blame on, President Trump, for maybe speaking and holding the rally there at that time and day. I mean, the list probably can go on and on and on. But I think there's a lot of blame, on everyone for that day.
Okay. And I guess I'll just end it. I mean, I did reach out to, like I had said, I had reached out to two Derby Democrats, Oni Malerba, the chairman of the Derby Democratic Town Party, just said that, in over 60 legal cases challenging the results of the 2020 election, all were thrown out. He said,
there was how many?
He says more than 60. I believe it's more than 50, but he said only you can say why he was in Washington, which you've just done. Derby deserves an answer, which you just provided. Sarah Wadomski, the president of the Board of Aldermen, said it's a very serious matter. The January 6th attack was an attack against democracy in our country. Angers and saddens me that our capital was subjected. The Board of Aldermen awaits a full explanation from the administration. And then the leader of the city, Mayor Zekin, said that it's been 2 years, hundreds of arrests have been made, and no doubt every inch of video has been examined. Yet in that time, Gino is not among those arrested. In fact, Gino has never even been questioned. I should note that Mayor Zekin is also a retired Hamden police officer, currently part-time in Bethany. Why is this news now? Politics, pure and simple. If Gino were not an elected Republican official, it would not have seen the light of day. By the way, Gino was a private citizen at the time, which had conveniently been omitted from most stories. He was not elected as an alderman until 11 months later, November of 2021, and as the chairman locally even after that. And I did ask the mayor, well, did you know he was at the Capitol before you put him on the ticket? And he said he was not aware of that. So I just wanted to get that. And I'm going to let you have the last word, Alderman DiGiovanni. I want to thank you, first of all, for taking an hour of your time to talk about this. I do appreciate that. But how do you want to end it?
I just want to end it by saying, thank you for, being honest and open and, letting me have a few minutes of your time and the citizens' times here in Derby to tell them, what I was, what I went through that day and take it step by step. And, I know people will have their opinions and that's, everybody's entitled their opinion, and I'll respect that. But I just, for people that know me, for the citizens here that I represent, you know, I've for the last 25 years, I've done a lot to help my community and my friends and my family and people that are, you know, around me. And, you know, for going to the Capitol that day, you know, I just don't want people to judge me and lose sight of all the things that how I try to live my life day to day for making a decision and going there. You know, I never a political person to you know, I don't want anybody to think I went down there for political purposes and went down there with you know, nefarious thoughts or, you know, intentions. I did not. So I do want to say thank you to you for letting me to express that and answer the questions that you have and anybody else had.
All right, Gino, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate your time.